I'm the governor. And I have executive authority, and I'm going to use it, especially when I have continued to extend olive branches and have not gotten a lot back from them.
In her first full month on the job, Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs hasn't been shy about reminding Republicans that a governor has powerful tools at her disposal to get things done. Now, as she enters her second month in the executive tower, Hobbs might need to put more of those tools to use. We're back with Republican Marcus Dell'Artino of First Strategic Public Affairs and Democrat Tony Cani of Slingshot Strategies. Seems Arizona has its own version of Washington's debt limit showdown, and that is the looming fiscal cliff for schools. A showdown over lifting the spending cap that prevents schools from spending more than $1 billion. And these are public school districts, prevents them from spending more than $1 billion. The legislature gave them last year. Very important point there. They've been given this money, but the cap prevents them from spending it. The Republican legislature in no rush to make a deal. And then late last week, the new Freedom Caucus said it wouldn't vote to lift the spending cap without what it calls, quote, systemic reform. So again, you see the analogy to what's going on in Washington, school funding apparently being held hostage.
This is a game of chicken between the entire public school system in Arizona and the Republican legislature. I mean, there was a letter that came out, when Ducey was still governor, from over 200 superintendents were like, hey, we got to get this thing done, because Tom Horn yesterday, or earlier this week, was saying that, hey, the result will be teachers are going to get fired, students are not going to be able to go to school. And so I think that the Republicans in that caucus, that the ones that are being very stubborn about this, they're viewing this as a standoff between them and the governor. But very soon, they're going to realize it's a standoff between them and parents and schools.
And so
I would just say, I mean, as far as the strategy goes, they do need to be very careful in this, and I will tell you why. And that is because you have some members, Republican members, and frankly, conservative members, who won by very narrow margins in this last cycle. And going in 2 years from now, if you start telling parents we're sending your kids home, look, I'm a parent and I ain't going back. I did the laptop thing. It is not happening to me again. And there's a lot of people who are just like me. I'm not made to be a teacher. God love teachers. They're way better people than I am. But those members could lose in those races. Now, the Republicans have a one-seat majority in both chambers. If you lose those 3 members, possibly 4 members, you're looking to be in the minority. So you have to be, this strategy has to be very, very well executed.
Very well executed, and so they're turning it into a negotiation. What is there to negotiate here? I don't know if you can put yourself in the Freedom Caucus shoes or some other shoes. What could they possibly negotiate? And will Katie Hobbs treat it, or should she treat it as a negotiation?
I mean, the people who are in the Freedom Caucus are the kinds that are tweeting that she is not actually the governor, and then a couple of days later they're tweeting, why isn't she willing to work with me? Even though she has the door open for these people to come in. I think this is all about causing trouble and trying to shut down public schools for the few people in that caucus that are driving this. And I don't know how she's going to negotiate with them. It's going to be up to people like Matt Gress, who is a Republican who ran, able to sort of work with people on that in the fringe right and then the more mainstream, who is trying to get this done. I think that that's the type of person that the governor is going to be negotiating with.
Matt Gress, Doug Ducey's former budget director, who penciled in all these numbers.
And we'll see whether or not he can pull everybody together.
And to your point, Matt's already doing hearings down at the legislature.
Right.
Did one yesterday, and I think he's got another one moving forward where he's talking to ATRA. He's talking to all the tax experts about how it works, and he's going to be talking to all the districts.
So there is time. 31 days before March 1st, when we're told by school districts that they're going to really need this money. How should Katie Hobbs do her job over the next 31 days? Just stand fast and say, look, you gave them this money, we need to vote to give them this money?
My guess is and I'm doing Tony's job for him, predicting what a Democratic governor would do, but I'm guessing she's going to go on a PR tour for the next 30 days, go into rural Arizona districts primarily, but also suburban districts, and talk to parents about AEL, what it means, how many teachers these school districts are laying off, and start to lay this base of PR going into March 1st.
And to be clear, so viewers understand, you need more than a majority of each house to actually lift the spending cap. What is it, 2/3 or 3/4?
40 and 20, right? I think.
I think that's right. Are we doing math?
I didn't tell you we were going to do math.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's the math test. You need more than a majority. I believe it's 2/3, might be 3/4. So every vote really
Yeah,
matters
every vote's
here.
going to matter.
You agree with that? PR tour, get people on her side.
Yeah, and you know, I think the governor's going to be doing that, but also these schools, they're out there, they are talking to the public because it's existential for some of them, and so I think that they're going to be hearing, parents and voters are going to be hearing a lot about this over the next couple of weeks, for sure.
Okay, and we will certainly stay on it.